Hello, everyone, and welcome. This will be my last movie review for a new feature film from the year 2016 that I'm going to review. So, welcome to my review of Silence. And I really wanted to see this film, not only as a huge fan of Martin Scorsese, but I wanted to see this film before I compile my list of the best or worst films of the year 2016. So, any movie I see after this, whether it's a 2016 or 17 film at all, I don't care. It'll be considered a 2017 movie. Silence, it was released in December to be qualifying for Oscar consideration. And so, in my opinion, it is a 2016 film and it will be the last film I talk about new films or new movie reviews from the year 2016. I want to close out that year and ready to move on to the next. So Silence, of course, is directed by Martin Scorsese. It's a film that he's been wanting to make, I think, for like 30 years now. And I remember hearing about this movie for the last 5 years and not having a clear idea of what it was about, but knew it was kind of a change of pace from what he's been doing for the last 20 years of his career. And I've enjoyed when he's kind of stepped back from mobster movies, gangster films, or films that deal with despicable characters that he's so good at, and kind of take tell a story that dealt in a different time, in a different part of the world, and have a more religious tone to it. And I really enjoyed, I think from the 1980s, he made The Last Temptation of Christ, and I think that is one of the best films I've ever seen about the life of Christ. And that's a movie that I actually had to see a few times to actually really appreciate. And when I saw the trailers to Silence, I couldn't help but remember that film just because it's dealing with a time in the past. Of course, the time of Jesus came many, many years before the time of Silence. But this film takes place, I believe, in the 1600s in Japan. We get to know a couple Jesuit priests, I think, that are living in Portugal. And they find out after like a year or so that a mentor of theirs, another fellow priest, had been captured in Japan because of the persecution by the leaders in Japan and the people that were killing and hurting and maiming and persecuting anybody who was Japanese that wanted to become a Christian. So they decide to go back to Japan, proselyte, of course, and at the same time try and find their mentor, their friend. Now, the film stars Andrew Garfield. He is the star of this movie. The film also has an Adam Driver and Liam Neeson, and a huge cast of very talented Japanese actors and actresses that I feel deserve your attention and your love, and they are incredible in the film. And the film is in Japanese and in English, so you don't have to read a lot of subtitles. If you're worried about subtitles, though I would have liked more subtitles in this movie, if you're worried about subtitles, there's not a lot. The majority of the film is in English. Now, I bet it didn't say based on a true story by any means, but I bet it's based on the history of Japan, the history of Christianity during that time in the 1600s, and the history of the people and the history of these priests. So I bet it's based on some real, true life, though it doesn't indicate in the film itself. And I felt very slightly conflicted a little bit as the movie was happening. I, of course, enjoyed it on a visual level. I enjoyed the incredible acting from everyone. And Andrew Garfield, who is the star of this movie, and he's almost in every scene of the film. It's some of the best work that he's done. It's been a great year for him with Silence and Hacksaw Ridge. I don't know if he's been anything else this year, but he's a great young actor that we saw back in 2009, and he's just... I liked him as Spider-Man, and I'm just really enjoying him in these dramatic roles as well. And I think he's just a really great young actor, and he does a great job in this film. Adam Driver is really good in the film, and Liam Neeson has some really solid scenes as well. What's so shocking about this movie is the subject matter. It is rated R, though there is no sex or violence in the film. There is no sex or language in the film, but there is a lot of violence in the movie. And honestly, I'd let a 15-year-old see this film because I think it's important. It's about history. It's about the history of the world, history of these people, and so it's something interesting to learn about. And they've probably done or seen more violent things in video games and television at home on, regular television. So I would definitely open this up to letting some teenagers see the film. But at the same time, it's a long movie. It's extremely lengthy. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, and the pacing goes back and forth. Though it always had my attention, even though I was, conflicted, it's okay, something interesting is going to happen. This is moving a little slow, but I'm not bored. I'm still interested in these characters, and then something really interesting and sad and tragic and shocking would happen. And without giving anything away, don't want to give anything away, but I will tell you the final 40 minutes of the movie, the film really started to show its true colors, its true face, and what it was really about, and how interesting it was. That was what was going on. I'm not a history buff when it comes to Catholicism, especially what happened in Japan, so I don't know much of the history, but after watching this film, I'd like to learn more about the people of Japan during that time and how they wanted this, but the people that were in charge didn't want them to have Christianity, and what the character goes through. The main character, Andrew Garfield, was quite emotional and shocking and sad and tragic, especially near the end of the film, but I understood it. I sympathized with it. I got it because of, this is how things would have happened during that time and what they would have done during that time. So, and it raises all these interesting questions about religion, about faith, about spirituality, about the Japanese culture, and the things that they do, and the things that they find, and how they look at the world, and what they worship, and their perception of life itself. So just made me think a lot, especially in those final moments of the movie, and really shaped my feelings of the film overall. Because I didn't know. It was like, is this a great film, or is this like an amazing film? Is this one of the best? So it was like going back and forth, honestly. And I appreciated the wonderful direction and the screenplay, the beautiful locations. If there was any CGI, I didn't notice anything at all. I thought everything looked real and authentic. I felt the emotions of the characters with the superb acting, everyone involved, from the people that I knew and the people I didn't know. So I was wondering, like, what am I going to feel about this film when it's finally over? It's eventually going to end, and it's probably going to end in a way where it's going to leave you to think about a lot of stuff, especially about, your own life and whatever you've been through. And when I got down to the final moments of the movie, and I think I had a somewhat clear idea that this movie is just brilliant. It's a brilliant film. It's a film that I would watch again, not right away, but I think it should be studied in film school, especially because of the great career of Martin Scorsese. I don't think that guy's ever made a bad film. Not every one of his films are masterpieces by any means, but most of his films are at least good. And this is definitely one of his best, and it's definitely worth watching. And we had a great audience. It was a full house. And I believe that because it was the only screening of the day, but they were really respectful. It was really shocking in this area. It was just really shocking how respectful the audience was, and they watched it. And I don't know what they thought about it. I'd be interested to find out what they thought about it. But I really appreciate that because I had a lot of anticipation and excitement to see the film, and it met that. It met that. I don't know if it exceeded my expectations, but it sure met them. And I highly recommend this film, and I'm glad I saw it before I think about what is the best films of 2016, because I don't know where I'm going to place this one. I really enjoyed Silence. Again, it's not a film for everyone, but I think if you love Martin Scorsese, you owe yourself to at least watch it once and then decide how you feel about it. But in my opinion, I think it's one of the best films of 2016. Great film on its own. I think it's a film that's going to be remembered for many years. And when they talk about Martin Scorsese and they say what a great career he had, they're going to mention Silence. I firmly believe that. And for that, I will definitely give this film 4 stars out of 4.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share this video. And also, please check out these amazing movie websites. And if you enjoyed this review, please click here to subscribe to my channel, and also please check out all my recent reviews right here on YouTube. Have a great day, live film, find peace, happiness, and harmony in anything and everything you do, and I'll talk to you at my next movie review.